Will Ukraine lose the war in a few weeks? That's the question on everyone's mind as the conflict in Ukraine rages on. The situation is complex and the outcome uncertain, but let's look at some recent developments that may shed light on the path ahead. Firstly, Russia's intercontinental ballistic missile test. As per US officials, it was a failure, a significant notch in the ongoing conflict. It's a clear indication that while Russia's military power is formidable, it is not infallible. This could very well affect the dynamics of the conflict, potentially tipping the scales in Ukraine's favor. Another key event to consider is Russia's suspension of its participation in the New START nuclear arms reduction treaty. This move has sent ripples across the globe, raising concerns about a possible escalation in nuclear tensions. The UK has expressed hope for reconsideration, emphasizing the importance of this treaty in maintaining global peace and stability. But amidst the turmoil, there's a ray of hope. Ukraine's victories on the battlefield have been seen as crucial for initiating real peace talks. These successes not only boost morale, but also strengthen Ukraine's position in negotiations. Despite the odds, the Ukrainian forces show resilience and determination, proving they are not to be underestimated. Former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has emphasized the importance of military aid to Ukraine, and Ukrainian President Zelensky is seeking international support for peace efforts. These calls for support underscore the global significance of this conflict and the collective responsibility to prevent it from spiraling out of control. The situation in Ukraine is fluid, with new developments occurring every day. The question of whether Ukraine will lose the war in a few weeks is one that cannot be answered definitively. It is a chess game of strategy, power, and resilience where every move matters. As the situation continues to evolve, one thing is certain: the stakes are incredibly high. This isn't just a conflict between Ukraine and Russia. The entire world is watching, and many nations are getting involved. Let's take a look at the role of China in this complex situation. As one of the global superpowers, China has expressed its concerns about the conflict spiraling out of control. In an attempt to maintain a balanced stance, China's top diplomat met with Russia's head of Security Council to discuss global governance. However, the deputy mayor of Lviv warns China against providing lethal weapons to Russia in the Ukraine conflict. Now, shifting our attention to the United States, they've taken a more direct role in the conflict. There are reports of a failed intercontinental ballistic missile test by Russia during the President Biden's visit to Ukraine. This has not deterred the US from supporting Ukraine. In fact, it has led to intensified efforts to aid Ukraine, with the First Lady expressing her concerns about the President's covert trip to Ukraine. And it's not just the US that's stepping up. The United Kingdom, the European Union, and Canada are also playing significant roles. They've imposed sanctions targeting Russian President Vladimir Putin and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. These sanctions include asset freezes, debt and equity restrictions, and efforts to shut down access to critical technology for key Russian sectors. NATO leaders have even activated the NATO response force, and there are ongoing discussions about potentially excluding Russia from the SWIFT financial messaging system. In the midst of all this, Ukrainian President Zelensky is seeking international support for peace efforts. Ukrainian victories on the battlefield are seen as crucial for initiating real peace talks. The international community is united in its condemnation of Russia's actions and support for Ukraine's sovereignty. This is a global conflict, and it's clear that the world is watching closely, ready to take action. While military action dominates the headlines, negotiations and diplomacy are equally important in the resolution of this conflict. The essence of any conflict resolution lies in the art of negotiations, the fine balance of power and diplomacy. In the midst of this ongoing conflict, peace talks serve as a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. Ukrainian President Zelensky has been vocal in his call for international support for peace efforts. This plea for diplomacy isn't just about ending the current conflict. It's about creating a foundation for a future where such conflicts are less likely. However, the path to peace isn't always straightforward. It's a complex dance of diplomacy, where each move can alter the trajectory of the conflict and tip the scale in favor of peace or war. It's a delicate balance that requires the right timing, the right words, and the right intentions. And it's not just about the Ukrainian and Russian leaders sitting across a table. It involves the international community, with its complex web of alliances, interests, and geopolitical strategies. It involves the voices of those on the ground, the ones directly affected by the conflict. It's a collective effort, a global responsibility. In this context, the viewpoint of top US General Mark Milley offers a unique perspective. He suggests that Ukraine may be in a position of strength to negotiate a Russian withdrawal. This is a significant statement. It implies that despite the challenges, Ukraine has managed to hold its ground, to show resilience in the face of adversity. This resilience could potentially translate into negotiation power, giving Ukraine a stronger voice in the peace talks. However, it's important to remember that negotiations aren't just about strength or power. They're about understanding, compromise, and finding a common ground. They're about acknowledging the complexities of the situation and working towards a resolution that respects the sovereignty and integrity of all involved parties. The path to peace is fraught with challenges, but the role of negotiations in this process cannot be understated. Sanctions can be a powerful tool in international politics, and they're having a major impact on Russia. The United States, European Union, United Kingdom, and Canada have all taken a firm stand against Russia's actions in Ukraine, imposing a series of stringent sanctions. The specific measures taken by these nations are wide-ranging and comprehensive. Asset freezes have been put in place, directly targeting Russian President Vladimir Putin, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, and other high-ranking officials. These freezes are designed to hit Russia's leaders where it hurts, in their personal wealth. But the sanctions go beyond individual asset freezes. The international community has also imposed debt and equity restrictions. By limiting Russia's ability to raise capital, these nations are seeking to put the squeeze on the Russian economy and increase the pressure on its leadership. Efforts have also been made to shut down access to critical technology for key Russian sectors. This move aims to hamper the country's ability to innovate and maintain its technological edge, adding yet another layer of pressure. In a particularly interesting twist, the US has chosen to expand its sanctions to include the adult children of Russian officials. This is an attempt to prevent these individuals from shielding their wealth and circumventing the sanctions. Discussion has also been stirred about potentially excluding Russia from the SWIFT financial messaging system, a move that could severely restrict the country's ability to engage in international trade. These sanctions are not just punitive measures, they also serve as a powerful signal to Russia and the rest of the world. They send a clear message that the international community will not stand by while Ukraine's sovereignty is threatened. The hope is that these measures will deter further aggression and bring about a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Indeed, these sanctions are a clear message to Russia. The international community will not stand by while Ukraine's sovereignty is threatened. As we look to the future, what can we expect for Ukraine? Forecasting the fate of the Ukrainian situation is akin to predicting the weather in a storm. It's unpredictable and ever-changing, yet we can contemplate some possible scenarios based on the current trends. In the realm of military confrontations, Ukraine's victories on the battlefield could be a game-changer. These successes are not just about boosting morale, they are crucial for initiating real peace talks. The resilience of the Ukrainian people, their determination to defend their homeland, is a force that should not be underestimated. On the other hand, the potential for negotiations is a glimmer of hope on the horizon. Top US General Mark Milley's suggestion that Ukraine might be in a position of strength to negotiate a Russian withdrawal reflects this optimism. However, the complexities and intricacies of such a negotiation cannot be ignored. It's a delicate dance that requires immense diplomatic finesse and strategic acumen. The international community's involvement also plays a significant role in shaping Ukraine's future. The collective imposition of sanctions on Russia is not only a strong statement of disapproval, but also a move that could potentially sway the balance of power. Moreover, the hope for peace is not just Ukraine's burden to bear. Countries like China, albeit their neutrality, are concerned about the conflict spiraling out of control, indicating that the desire for a peaceful resolution is shared globally. Lastly, let's not forget the power of the people. The Ukrainian spirit remains unbroken, and their resilience, strength, and determination are a testament to their will to fight for their freedom. While we can't predict the future, one thing is clear: the world is watching, and Ukraine is not alone in this conflict.